So, Ratchet and Ironhide have been a little weird with current figures. Like, back in 2018, we got the Siege model, which was fine. The mold was good, but it was kind of not that good either, and Ratchet was really hard to get. And then Earthrise came out with exclusives of Ratchet and Ironhide, which was hard to get. They weren't really that good anyway. But then Studio Series came out with this amazing Voyager Ironhide, which I personally love. We're still waiting for the Ratchet. But then they also came out with these two little core class boys, which I love so much. So that's what we're looking at today. The Transformers Studio Series 86 Core Class Ratchet and Ironhide. Starting out in vehicle mode, Ironhide turns into a red van, which is pretty much what he is in almost everything. And then Ratchet turns into the exact same van, but white and with a light bar on top to look like an ambulance. And I just love how these two look. They capture the van so well, even though it's not the right van mode, as these are unlicensed Nissan Cherry Vanettes, so they kind of had to move around it to make it not look like a real Nissan Cherry Vanette. But I like how they did. I've loved the little greeblings they've gotten through it. It looks amazing. Like, you can pick out all the different details, like the side windows and the door handle. Like, even going to the back and front, there's even got, like, window wipers, which I love quite a bit. I just love it when they add these little details to the figures that otherwise we wouldn't even get. But I'm happy they cared about it so much to add those in. Now, my only issue with these figures is that they're missing paint. Like, Ironhide hasn't got his yellow stripe because they don't like giving that to him unless it's a exclusive, like what's happening with the dead Ironhide. Like, he looks weird without a stripe here, especially on a scale this small, as they would have had more budget, considering that Ironhide is actually a retool from Ratchet, which they already had everything figured out there. But then, Ratchet is also missing a bunch of paint. Like, he's missing his Autobot insignia on the front, but that's due to them moving its placement in robot mode, which is fine, it just looks a bit weird. But then he's also missing his red stripe along the side, which I get Ratchet doesn't really need it because he is just a white van. It's not as part of his design as it is with Ironhide's, but it's weird them not having it. Like, I'm fine with it. I can fix it later with toy hacks or some paint, but them not adding it for a scale this small, because they're not doing much with these. Like, they could have had some extra budget lying around, which I think they might have, but then they didn't use it. Well, they could have used it but put on someone else. But like, it's fine. It's not really an issue, but it's something that hurts me personally. But hey, these two look so good together that I just had to take some pictures, so here they are. Transformation is fairly easy on these two, as it's mostly just a case of explode them apart, then move them back into place, which is fine. It's quite simple. I reckon anyone can pick them up and do it. The only annoying part is on my Ratchet, the head is really tight, so I kind of have to get my finger in there and push it from the behind to get it up. Unlike with Ironhide, where I can just move the back of the roof and then it easily goes into place. But otherwise, it's nice and simple, and I do like the fact that they've managed to give him a form of waist rotation with the transformation. That's something that I love. But yeah, they're nice and easy, and I reckon anyone can do it. Here we are in robot mode, and wow, they look so much like the characters. It's so good. Sure, their proportions are a little off, but that's due to them having to fit into a small size, but it captures them so well. Like, Ironhide's face captures the gruffness of him, because he's such an old character that is lived a couple of wars. And Ratchet, I just love how Ratchet looks. Like, sure, the Autobot insignias are on his shoulders now instead of his chest, and that's always gonna annoy me. But they kind of had to do that to get around the crosses that Ratchet had in G1, as he was kind of breaking the Geneva Conventions with that. Yeah, no one really mentions that, do they? But yeah, I love how they look. Now, I can't recall if Ratchet had a grey forehead crest or a red one back in G1. I believe it was grey, but I might be misremembering, because I remember it being red. But either way, I love how his forehead crest looks on him. And it just shows how much care they put into making these two, as their like waists have detail in on them, their legs have detail, even their wrists have detail, which I love quite a bit. Now, my only issues with these figures are, well, the lack of paint from vehicle mode, as Ratchet not having his logo on his chest still annoys me, but like, looking at it, they have so much paint on them. Like, on the shoulders there's paint, the heads have paint, the waists have paint. There's just so much paint going around these figures, to the point where their hands even have paint, which I quite like. But like, they could have used some of the paint budget on adding the yellow stripe for Ironhide. I'm sorry, that's gonna keep coming up. That's gonna annoy me forever. Like, looking at it, I think Ratchet actually has more paint than Ironhide from what I can tell. I'm not sure, well, for sure certain, but just looking at them two and comparing them, I think Ratchet might actually be the one that's more painted. Posability on these two are nice, as they have a swivel at the head, their arms are on a ball joint allowing for all the way around, and even a slight butterfly joint due to transformation. But the arms only go out about 90, and they only bend a little over 90 actually. If you move the hood from the vehicle mode, you can get some waist swivel or chest swivel depending on how you look at it. The legs go up in go out and around in every direction because they're ball jointed and nothing really gets in the way. The knee bends almost 90, but there's kibble in the way, so if you move that kibble, you get actually more than a 90, but that looks kind of bad, so we're not really going to talk about that. Yeah, he's got so much going for him, and his bicep does also swivel, I forgot to mention that. But yeah, they're nice. Accessory-wise, these two come with the gun from the 86 movie. I mean, what else are you gonna give them? They're kind of from the 86 line, so they kind of need the guns that they came with, which I quite like. You can tell whose is whose based on who it's with which color it's cast in, but they're really interchangeable. You don't really gotta keep one set with one character because they're the exact same gun. Now, something I've noticed is these might be the most painted guns that we've gotten, as Ratchet's is cast in white then painted grey, and then Ironhide's is casted red then painted grey, which I quite like. I still don't think this is what their design looked like in the movie based on the footage that I saw, but I could just be misremembering, as it was really blurry anytime I looked at footage for it. I haven't been able to find a clean version of it, but anyway, I like the fact that we get the guns. They're nice, they're small, they're just nice that they come with them. But hey, these two look so good together that I just had to take some photos, so here they are. this has been the review for Transformers Studio Series 86 Core Class Ratchet and Ironhide. Tell me, what do you think of these figures? Did you pick them up or are you planning on skipping them altogether? Personally, I say pick them up. They're really worth the price because they're fun, they're simple, they're actually worth the money you put into them. I mean, sure you could get a better figure for almost the same amount of money, but I suggest pick them up. They're nice, they're fun, but tell me below what do you think of them. Thanks for watching.